Very excited to introduce the Energize Rhode Island Clean Energy Investment and Carbon Pricing Act. This legislation would put a fee on carbon pollution paid for by the companies that sell fossil fuels in Rhode Island. It would then turn around and inject all the revenue from that fee directly back into the local economy in two different ways. The lion's share goes through a rebate system to every Rhode Island family and business on a per capita or per employee basis, which does a few things that protects Rhode Islanders from pass-along costs by the fossil fuel companies. And second, and more importantly, it creates a concrete economic incentive for individuals and businesses to invest in efficiencies and renewables, because while the rebate is equal to everyone, what you pay in may not be. And so the cleaner and greener you are, the more of a net benefit you're going to get from that rebate. And then the remaining portion of the revenue goes directly into our efficiency and renewable programs to make sure that they are in fact accessible to all of the families and businesses who now have an even greater reason to actually take advantage of those programs. The final detail that bears mentioning is that this legislation is designed around a regional focused trigger, meaning that it wouldn't go into effect until neighboring states with a population of over 5 million pass similar carbon pricing proposals. So we wouldn't need to be too worried about getting too far ahead of our neighbors. There are multiple reasons that I think Rhode Island should adopt a carbon pricing policy like this. First and foremost, this type of ambitious climate action is both necessary and deeply urgent. It bears repeating, 2014 was the hottest year ever recorded in human history. Until 2015 came along and broke the record, it became the hottest year ever recorded in human history. Until 2016 came along and absolutely obliterated the record. And now in 2017, we're on track to push that even further. Every week we lose another 22,000 square miles of Arctic sea ice. We've lost over half in the last 30 years. When that ice melts, it raises sea levels, which are already eroding coastlines in many of our communities. And in future years, and I don't mean when your grandchildren are old, I mean in the next 1 or 2 decades, that is going to be a significant, dangerous threat to many of our communities when times are calm, and could be absolutely devastating throughout the state in storm surge situations. So there's a climate impact of this. Beyond that, very briefly, the bill represents an ambitious local economic development plan as well. The changes we need to lower our emissions and head off catastrophic warming are the same changes that can actually dramatically strengthen our economy. Rhode Island spends well over $3 billion every year on imported fossil fuels. That's over $3 billion that we send out of Rhode Island every year to Pennsylvania or Texas or Saudi Arabia that we could be putting to work for our local economy. So every megawatt that we can transition from out-of-state fossil fuels to in-state renewable generation and efficiency means more dollars that are being paid to Rhode Island workers, circulating in Rhode Island businesses, generating revenue for our state. We've got an economist here who's going to talk in greater detail about a study from Regional Economic Models, Inc. that looked into this analysis and found that it has a strongly positive impact on our economy. So we have every self-interested reason to move forward with policy like this. We also obviously have a moral responsibility. By failing to enact significant climate action, we are condemning the young people of our state to a very dangerous future. That's not hyperbole. That should not be a controversial statement. That is the literal consensus of the international scientific community, of the United States government, of the United States military, to say nothing of the frontline communities around the globe who are already being impacted by the climate crisis. This is about what path are we going to choose for our state, for our planet, for our species. The stakes are really high, and history is going to judge us, so I hope that we'll strongly consider this legislation. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Yes, sir.